Yeah.
All right, here we go. It's been just a minute since I've been here, and as a matter of fact, I left the studio volume on. Jason Zaleski, Dan Ross, today's Zaleski Sports Show. We are happy to be here in a cold, frigid downtown Stevens Point. I'm told they're getting warmer, so we'll take that news as it is. On today's show, girls and boys basketball rankings, our upcoming broadcast schedule, the ever popular Merriwood Minute, all that coming up on today's show.
It's all yours, and it's all now.
I got things out of whack here. It's been a couple weeks for me. Cale Jacoby, great job last week filling in. Let's just say that right off the bat.
Yeah, Cale did a good job.
Yeah. And found out that found out what a lot of us know, that people seem to want to hear what we have to say. And he worked himself into pizza and cookies out of the whole deal.
Yeah, I helped him with that.
Good. Well, you got to show the kid the ropes. You know, he's going to move international soon, so he better start knowing these things.
It is true. Also, the girls love him.
He's a ladies' man.
He's a ladies' man.
Like, I forget the SNL character. Well, the ladies' man, right?
Yeah. Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows, yeah, the ladies' man. A bottle of Cavassier. And good stuff. It's been an interesting last couple of weeks. So we were talking about this just before the cameras turned on. We had, to my knowledge, in the last 50 years, the first time we had 2 snow postponement days in the same week. And that both happened last week on Tuesday and Friday. I still scratch my head over this, though, Dan.
Did it even snow?
Well, I still scratch my head over this. Tuesday in particular, right? It depending on where you were, but around here it snowed about an inch or an inch and a half, something like that. You could just kind of, and it would just, off it would go. And it's a game I was really looking forward to, so I guess that's why it sticks out in my mind. But boys basketball, Valley Conference, battle at the top. It was going to be Marshfield at Spash. That game actually got postponed the night before.
Yeah.
And then you and I were sitting in Auburndale, right where Marshfield would have had to drive through to get to Stevens Point,
true.
Playing a basketball game.
Yeah.
And I just, my simple mind can't comprehend it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about administrators and risk adversity, and like, I understand it. It's kind of silly, and like, I wish that level minds prevailed in a lot of these situations.
Yeah, that's pretty good right there. Friday was different, I think.
A little worse.
Yeah, it was worse. There were inches of snow that's still out here right now, and the 30 and 40 mile an hour wind, and then quickly backed up by sub-zero temperatures, and you kind of mix all that together. And it's Friday, man. Who doesn't want a day off on Friday?
It's true, and that walk from the gymnasium to your car that's cold.
Yeah.
Oof.
Talking about us, right?
Yeah.
Forget about the parents that are there watching. Yeah, that's
the kids
different.
walking to the bus. I mean, the kids are made of rubber. They'll be fine. But the older people in minus 40 degree wind chill, like that's no good.
Yeah, and it was. My phone for the last few days in the weather app just shows an igloo.
Pretty much.
That's the icon.
It's supposed to be 40 though next week.
Well, that's what they're telling me. So 1 week we hope the weather forecasters are wrong, and then 1 week we hope that they're right.
If we have 1 week of winter, I'm okay with it.
Let's dive right into this week. I don't blame this on you per se, but I thought of you during the last week and a half or so, because you were right. We were living in bonus land up until last week with the weather as it was. I mean, it was in the 40s and it was nice. Yeah. And so we appreciated that bonus, but man, it seems like it all gets wiped away the first time the thermometer hits 0. Seems like I forget all of that bonus time.
Yeah, my favorite thing is working at a company that is global and all over the country. Okay. And people in Georgia complaining because it's 20 degrees. Like, man.
I saw that, I don't know, an acquaintance of mine these days, but complaining that it was 24 where he lives in North Carolina and the wind chill is 16. He was really upset about it. Yeah. But that is, everything's relative. Everything's relative.
It's very true.
On the moon, for example, if it was 30 degrees Fahrenheit, you'd be sweating. Just as an example. Okay, girls basketball rankings. These are fresh off the presses as of Monday afternoon. These are games played through Sunday. which for a lot of these teams were a week of no games. So games that weren't
Not a lot of
weren't even
movements.
played. Yeah, really. So we're going to go through them somewhat quickly. We will pause though on the things that seem to matter in our minds. So thank you all for watching, by the way, Jason, Dan. Okay, Division I girls basketball. Hartford number 10, Eau Claire Memorial is 9, Hortonville 8, Neenah 7, Muskego 6, Kimberly 5, Brookfield East 4, Verona 3, Oregon 2, and Arrowhead is ranked number 1 in Division I. That's pretty much where those teams have been the last couple weeks.
Yeah, no
Over in
real
Division I.
surprises. Eau Claire Memorial still 9. I think there were 9 last week and maybe 2 weeks ago.
They've
kinda
been
there.
in that 7 to 10 range for quite a while, really, and a pretty good squad there.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago you mentioned that the Marshfield Tigers would be moving down these rankings.
Yeah.
Where are they at now?
Well, not near the top. As it turns
Because they
out.
were in the top 10 for a while.
Yeah, they're 25, and I know you and Kale had.
They were 22
you
or
were
something.
wondering about my mental safety with the Marshfield Tigers
true.
girls basketball team, but
You're not supposed to watch these programs that we talk about you.
well, it was so. I'll just explain to you what I did. I was on the way back from Milwaukee last week on Thursday night, and I put it on because these things that are on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, they're on all those things. You can go back anytime and play them. And so I did that. I entertained myself for an hour plus on the way back home on Thursday night. Yeah, and I was entertained. And that's the whole point of the show.
Plus, when people complain about us, you want firsthand knowledge of exactly what we said.
Yeah, well, my only wish is that you were not speaking with a German accent, and it turned out you were not. So it's a very low bar that we set around here.
It's true.
But it's the one rule I have this basketball season is not to speak in a German accent. All right.
9.
So my Tigers, they've got it bad right now. They really do. They have. Let's see here. 1, 2, tree, because we're in northern Wisconsin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're losers 4 of the last 5. And your T-Birds got them last night, 72-54.
Well, Lakeland's a pretty strong team. I think they're at number 10 or just outside the top 10 when we get there.
Well, we'll find out. How about we find out right now? Moving on to Division II, McFarland is number 10. Lakeland is number 9. Wauwatosa East 8, Monona Grove 7, Notre Dame 6, Rice Lake 5, Beaver Dam 4, West Appear 3, Menominee 2, Pewaukee 1. That has been rather consistent over the last few weeks.
So a little side thought here.
Please.
And for $5 a month, you can see these rankings.
Yeah.
And they are growing in popularity. People are starting to realize that we have the projected seeds of all of the tournaments, right? And we're getting to the point in the season where teams, coaches especially, but fans, are really interested in where are we going to be at? Are we going to be a 3 seed, a 5 seed? Instead of finding out and being surprised,
Yeah.
they can find out where they're at. It's awesome.
Yep. On my drive here, a basketball team from Western Wisconsin contacted me, asked me that very question. On January 29th, our very first seed projections for girls basketball will be available to VIPs.
Love
You
it.
will see the whole state and where your team fits into the bracket for the upcoming tournament.
For $5 a month and you get it weekly or whatever it's going to be,
weekly.
like that's incredible.
Yep, we'll give you. So let's let the cat out of the bag here. Next week, we will give you the whole rundown by each division in girls basketball. And then we will give you back-to-back Mondays seed projections. We'll give you brackets back-to-back Mondays because we realize that things might shift around between version 1 and version 2.
Yep.
And then about 4 days after version 2 comes out, the WIA will give you the actual seeds, which you'll find out you knew about ahead of time.
That is not far away.
It's pretty close. I believe February 10th is girls' seed reveal. I'm waiting for clarification from the other side of town on that, but that is my understanding is February 10th. So yeah, less than a month.
Okay.
Less than a month. So we'll give you 3 updates for the girls, 3 updates for the boys between now and seed when the actual brackets come out. And as Dan said, if you do it right now and you want to be a cheapskate, you could pay for 2 months, $10, and you get to see it all.
$10 is nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. You'll lose more than that walking on the street tonight. Division 3, Xavier is 10, Sheboygan Falls 9, Aquinas is 8, Kettle Moraine Lutheran is 7, Edgerton is 6, Edgewood is 5, Oostburg is 4. I just like saying that name, Oostburg. Waupun is 3, Elk Mound is 2, Catholic Memorial is number 1 in Division 3. In Division 4, girls basketball, Sheboygan Lutheran is 10. New Glarus is 9. The Neelsville Warriors are 8. Fall Creek 7. Those Crickets hopping around in the top 10.
Yep.
Bangor is 6. Bondwell 5. Kewanee 4. Laconia 3. St. Mary Catholic 2. McDonald Central 1. A lot of that largely unchanged, but we'll pause here, Dan. I'll take a breath.
Yeah.
Because last week, Monday, we saw the Neelsville Warriors take a loss in Southwood County.
Yeah, Assumption got them.
For the first time ever. Like 11-year series history.
Yeah. Really good win for the Assumption Royals. Kind of got the monkey off their back.
Yeah.
Neelsville, and it's the first time that I sat and watched a full game. Neelsville has some flaws this year, and a lot of teams do. This isn't any sort of negative connotation towards Coach Geyer and that, right? But Opelt is a fantastic player, but she needs some help. Still some games to figure it out before the playoffs start, but that's a big win by Assumption. Also, a big win by Pacelli over number 3, St. Mary Catholic.
They are
Division 4.
Currently 2.
2.
They may have been 3 last week when that game happened.
Unbelievable win.
Or a couple weeks ago, that was.
Yeah, for the Pacelli Cardinals, huh?
A great win. Great win for the Cards. That's kind of, it's their signature win on the season.
Yeah.
Thus far, and one they may think back on as they perhaps enter a regional final or a sectional semifinal is remember what we did that day.
Yeah.
And how we can
on
defeat
the road.
How we can defeat this team out here in front of us now.
Yeah.
Coach Geyer has seen, aside from Paris Opelt, he's seen some of the others kind of flash during the season, but nothing consistent.
Yeah.
And that I think is your point there.
Yep.
She needs a wingmate. She needs a running mate quickly.
Yeah. And their sectional isn't too tough, but the last 2 games of that sectional will be tough games against probably. Yeah, I don't.
I don't have those up here either. As we get a little, I think we've said this last couple
Fall
weeks.
River's in there.
Yeah, as we get nearer to our first seed projection release.
McDonald was the other one.
We'll put all of our sections right up here on the wall.
Great.
Like we did during football, and we'll have that ready to go. Because it's coming.
Yeah.
It's close. Like I said, we'll have our first seed projection where we fill in the brackets statewide, all 20 of them. And that'll happen on January 29th. So today's January 17th. Like it's close.
It's close.
Close for this happening. Okay, in Division 5, Belmont 10, Royal 9, Lord's Academy 8. Pacelli Cardinals are ranked number 7. Clear Lake 6, Webster 5, Argyle Pecatonica 4. Lena's 3, Cochrane Fountain City 2, and the Assumption Royals have been number 1 now for the past in our ranking, which I think we should just call the official ranking because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
They've been in that top spot now for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, and their lead is pretty big, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's 3 full points, which is fairly insurmountable.
Yeah.
At this point, with only a couple weeks left till
well
reveal.
deserved.
And well deserved. And they're undefeated.
Yep.
I mean,
they're the only Division 5 undefeated team, I believe.
Yeah, forget about the seed score. They're undefeated, but the seed score is rather remarkable.
Yeah,
in that
for
way.
Sure.
The other story, Dan, I want to go to in girls basketball, the Greenwood Indians, ranked number 15. I think back over the last number of years, the Greenwood Indians girls basketball team has just been an afterthought. It's teams outside of the area, so you get to a regional semifinal, and they're the visiting team, and the parents in the stands are like, "Where's Greenwood? What is that?"
Yeah.
They got to go look it up. They don't know what conference they're in.
I still don't know.
I'll take you there someday. It's a fine town.
It's somewhere west, northwest.
Yeah, Clark County.
Yeah.
And so, but that is changing this season.
Yeah.
Trevor Wietrick and his girls are changing that to where somebody like you will know where Greenwood is in soon fashion. I'm going to temper my enthusiasm just a little bit because I want to see how that section lines up. But wouldn't it? I think it would be great for that town if a regional final was in the offing.
Yeah, to have a run.
They're ranked 15. I don't know. I don't have all the sections laid out here, but 15. You're probably looking at a 3 seed in your section, depending on where these teams are located. But that's a favorable advantage
For sure.
coming in, and they helped themselves last night. They beat those pesky Loyal Greyhounds last night. It was a triple overtime thriller between those two just a week ago.
Yeah.
And Loyal got it at home, and now Greenwood repaid the favor at home last night, and so get a little bump in their seed score from the win, get a little bump in the seed score from the strength of schedule, and so on and so on.
Yeah, I would say that if we talk about what is the biggest story in local girls basketball this year, it's got to be between Greenwood and Pacelli.
Those are two really good ones, and those Greenwood Indians beat the Pacelli Cardinals earlier this season.
Their only loss.
I'm telling you, I'm on Greenwood. I'm not going to say this. I'm going to add Greenwood into the stable. I was almost going to say I'm going to trade them for my Tigers. I can't say that. Because I still have faith in Coach Varsho's Tigers.
Let's have Greenwood knock off Neilsville.
Well, that game's coming up.
Yeah.
In version 2, I believe. They've already seen each other once this year. So
Neilsville won handily.
round 2 is coming up. Yes, they did. So yeah, very interesting there. And the other interesting component, or thing I'll bring up, and then we'll move to the boys' standings, is back to where is Greenwood? What is Greenwood? Right? Small town in northwestern Clark County, about 10 miles north of Neilsville, give or take, and just a couple miles west of Loyal, which also now they've had a state championship in recent history, girls basketball team, so
Like
a little
18,
more.
maybe 18.
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
17 something.
Yep. We had the trophy sitting in our studio a couple days later.
Okay.
Coach Reith came in and shared with us his triumph with a couple of his players, and but two small towns. The cross country team has already combined, co-opted those two towns.
Yeah,
'cause
Loyal
they are so
Greenwood,
close. And the softball team has co-opted now the last couple of years. Football team is co-oping beginning next year, and this is all kind of recent news. A week or so ago, I could be off by a few days, but the Greenwood School Board approved their athletic teams, all of them, to co-op with Loyal.
Okay.
Loyal is having an informational meeting, the school board, an informational meeting on this topic on Sunday evening over at the school. So if you'd like to go, please go. I may attend. So warning or accept an invitation, however you want to take that. I may head over there. Here's the history, Dan. Those two teams, or those two towns, since the 40s, have had a real dislike for each other. Just there's a rivalry, and that's fine. But over the years, there had been a hatred that had grown between those two towns. I think that's kind of went away over the last 15 years or so as the populations have declined and there's less to rabble rouse about because there's less going on around town and those kind of things. But early reports are Greenwood has already signed off on it. The Loyal folks are a little tepid. They're not so sure about this, and it's going to be an interesting meeting on Sunday about this.
So is this maybe the last year of Greenwood
Well, it would.
on their own?
Well, it could be. I mean, they don't have plans for that. If the co-op falls through, they would still participate. But I'll give you some more information. Last night, our very own Joe Anderson asked Greenwood girls basketball coach Trevor Wietrick about this upcoming situation, and I think Coach put it really well. It's a matter of, do we want, and I'm paraphrasing and editing here a little bit, but essentially what he was saying is, do we want foolish community pride to get in the way, or do we want success for our kids? These are the options. And that's why Greenwood has signed on for it, because the participation rates are very low, and when it's low, coming out of a school with enrollment barely over 100, you're going to struggle to put teams together.
Yeah. I'm actually really jealous that Joe asked questions he got answers to.
Yeah, it seems like a foreign thing, doesn't it, sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, so the finance of the world works in that you have money allocated to kids, but there's an upfront cost, right? Mm-hmm. But if you eliminate that cost, all of a sudden, the kids at both schools have a lot more money per kid. Mm-hmm. So in a lot of ways, it makes a lot of sense, especially football-wise and some of the sports where you barely have enough for a team. And Greenwood's been there for a while. Yeah,
last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Really have had question marks about forming a team in any given sport during those seasons.
So, I mean, kudos. I'm trying to make that leap because at the end of the day, it really is about the kids.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's what we tell each other. Most of us mean it.
Yeah, for sure.
I can see that some don't. So we hope all the best for that. Beyond that, and I've had some conversations with prior and current school board members from that area, And if there ever was a situation for a county school, it really seems like that one is it. With Neilsville being the high school and some other things. And
Yeah.
I'm not a school administrator, and I don't know how to put that all together in a campus plan and all these other things that they do. But I think of others that have really succeeded in this way. And the one that to me really leads the way is Gale Electric Trempealeau. We've got 3 towns.
Yep.
All in the southwestern part of the state, western part of the
It's
state.
pretty much the whole county, I think.
And it really is. It's really a county school over there, in the Trempealeau County area. And they have succeeded. Their athletic programs in particular have succeeded because now they're able to, more kids participate, the better you are, because practice makes you good. And so if you can practice, just talking about basketball terms, if you can put 10 kids out there and actually practice 5-on-5, now we can maybe make something of this. But if we've got 8 kids on the basketball team, we can only practice 3-on-3, and then we go out to a game, and then now they've got 5 on the other side of the floor. Yeah. You're not set up for success.
Yeah, otherwise you have to have coaches, and you have older brothers and sisters.
Just that never works.
It's tough.
It never works. So Gale Electric Trempealeau, if you folks are looking for kind of a standard in this category, I would direct you to that school district, and hopefully you give a call or a visit over there and seek some advice on how it all worked out for them. But in the meantime, Greenwood is full steam ahead. I hope Loyal joins, and the kids will have a lot better success. Dan, last thing, and we'll move on to the boys basketball rankings. But the parents I hear from over there that are against it, they're really worried about their kids' playing time. And I get that it's a valid concern, but team success would be where I point you rather than to individual performances.
I wonder what division they'd be in.
Probably 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So it's very similar to where they are now. There's really not a whole lot of difference there. Okay, boys basketball. Maybe we'll report on that next week. Boys basketball rankings.
We'll forget by then.
Yeah, that's why I chuckle about it. But boys basketball rankings in Division 1. Beloit Memorial, number 10. Oshkosh North is number 9. Kettle Moraine, number 8. Had them on the network last night. They beat the Oconomowoc Raccoons. Yeah, that's
Trash Pandas.
That's a British pronunciation. Raccoon. Raccoon, yep. If you want to look it up, the Beatles sang a song, Rocky Raccoon.
Imagine if their name was the Trash Pandas. It'd be so good.
It'd be a lot more fun.
It would be.
Yeah, they got a cool mascot, though. But Oconomowoc did lose, so Kettle Moraine winners last night. Highlights are on Facebook at Zaleski Sports Wisconsin. Eau Claire Memorial is number 7. Appleton North is 6. Wanakee 5. Marshfield is 4, Stevens Point 3, De Pere 2, Arrowhead 1. Whoa.
Arrowhead's good on both sides of the ball.
They really are.
Boys and girls this year.
Yep. We've got Arrowhead coming up next week at the Fiserv in Milwaukee. You'll be able to watch Arrowhead live on Zaleski Sports. And Stevens Point Marshfield rescheduled, I think, 2 weeks from now, that big game we were talking about. And we'll also have Spash at Wanakee next week. So number 3 and number 5. Oh, we're loading them up for you guys.
Man.
We are loading them up for you.
Spash is really scheduling.
Yeah. Yeah. They just said, we only want to play if you're good, and we only want to play if you're big.
Yeah.
And they all said, okay.
And they travel. They go almost everywhere.
Yeah. They're going to Wanakee.
Road Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to pay off for them later on.
Yeah, you saw them last night, and we'll get into it. But
yeah,
they're good. They're a good story this year.
De Pere, ranked number 2, took their first loss in almost 2 full seasons.
42-game winning streak.
Yep.
Snapped by...
Came to an end by our number 1 team in Division 2, Wisconsin Lutheran. That game was on Saturday. In Division 2, Fox Valley Lutheran, number 10. Nicolay is 9. Ashwaubenon 8. Burlington 7. Stoughton 6. Mosinee 5. New Richmond 4. The Wausau East Lumberjacks come in at number 3.
Controversial, maybe.
Well, some raised eyebrows there. Pewaukee 2 and Wisconsin Lutheran 1. Wisconsin Lutheran has an astronomical seed score of 765.
I mean, they're really good.
Well, they're the best team in the state.
Yeah. And there's not much difference between Division 2 and Division 1. Not
in the top 10 for sure.
In the semantics of like, oh, we have to play Division 1. There's a lot of bad Division 1 teams, just like there's a lot of bad Division 2 teams.
Sure.
So De Pere losing to Wisconsin Lutheran, and people are shocked by it.
Shouldn't be.
Don't be. They're the best 2 teams in the state.
Yeah. Yep, I believe that.
It was, what, a 1-possession game?
A 2-point game. 2-point victory. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Division 3, Elk Mound is 10. The Mounders, one of the best names in the state. Brookfield Academy is number 9. Had Brookfield Academy on the network on Tuesday night. They were defeated by Dominican. Carmen Northwest 8, Xavier 7, Brillion 6. The Dominican Knights come in number 5. Kiel 4, had Kiel on the network a couple weeks ago. Lake Mills is 3. Lakeside Lutheran 2, St. Thomas More number 1 in Division 3.
We've had them on the.
We have a couple times just about 3 weeks ago.
So are we a Dominican broadcast team now?
No, I wouldn't say
I have
that.
seen them a lot.
Yeah, so, well, we've had them on 4 times in the last 3 weeks, so it may seem like it. Remind me that question when I get through with these rankings,
Okay.
because I want to get into that.
I have a question for you about it.
I want to get into that. So
Okay.
There's an answer in there that I think people need to hear. In Division 4, Partyville, number 10. That's just a good name for a town.
That's
Partyville.
great.
Right? And I've been there. It is kind of a party. Auburndale's number 9. Unity is 8. Spring Valley 7. Kohler 6. Sheboygan Lutheran is 5. Marathon is 4. Darlington 3. Mineral Point 2. Bondwell 1. Again, we essentially had almost 0 boys games last week. So a lot of non-movement there.
These games do count Monday. So the Mosinee Marathon game does count.
I believe that's true.
Yes.
Yep, I believe that's true. Rib Lake is 10 in Division 5. How about that?
I like it.
The Redmen coming in the top 10. Solon Springs 9. Almond Bancroft is 8. Salam is 7. Abundant Life 5. Cashton 6. Eau Claire Emmanuel Lutheran 4. North Crawford 3. Columbus Catholic is number 2. And Potosi's number 1. We had a comment come in when these rankings came out last night or this morning, whenever it was. I think it must have been last night. Somebody had said on there, because we give just a snapshot of all the ones.
Yep.
And a comment came in Division 5, you spelled Columbus Catholic wrong. No, we did not. Potosi.
Yeah.
The seed scores are very close. And so what happens, even if you don't play a game yourself, others on your schedule played, and because strength of schedule is such a big component, that can move that seed score around. And when these two are in a razor-thin area like they are, just 1 or 2 games that your opponents may have played last week will change that. Do change that score, and it was enough this week to flip flop the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Math.
And Emmett's back.
Yeah, I know you guys talked about that last week and put on quite a show in just a few minutes of play. By all accounts, scored every point for Columbus Catholic that night. That's what I heard down in Milwaukee. It's like, hey, he scored every point. He only played 4 minutes.
I mean, congratulations. It's great to see him back on the floor.
It's the very first thing that I told the family is all I want is just for Emmett to be back on the basketball floor.
Yeah. I mean, if they would have lost that game by 15 or 20 to who are they playing? Eau Claire, Regis.
Yeah, Regis.
They're playing
right.
Regis.
Thank you. Yeah.
If they would have lost that game by 10 or 15, it would have been a win in everybody's mind.
Yeah. Okay, so you asked about Dominican.
Yes, my question.
Yeah, okay, please.
it,
Yeah, go ahead.
Right?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So you've seen Dominican score between 100 and 120 something?
On the season, they averaged 99.
Okay.
Real number, 99 per game.
99 points a game. How does that look compared to seeing some of these Clover Belt games where teams are scoring in the 40s?
Totally different. But
and I'm picking on the Clover Belt, but,
yeah,
but,
well, whatever.
we could
Fill
put
in the
anybody
blank.
in
Fill
there.
in the
Yeah.
blank school or conference around central Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin. I mean, it looks totally different. Now, Steve Showalter, the coach of the Dominican Knights, he and I had a pretty candid chat, so I'll save some of it between me and him. But if you want to go up, they scored 132 last night or the night before, and I mean that's a lot of points for anybody. I mean NBA on down. It takes a real effort offensively to score that many points.
Trevor said that he had to fix the scoreboard because
To
we
allow
never
3
expected
digits, yeah.
to have 3 digits on there.
And Trevor did a good job because they all fit. When you have that kind of output on the offensive side, something else has to give way, because for 36 minutes you only have so much energy to do things for 36 minutes, and you can't do it all. And when you're scoring that many points, what you give way to is any defensive effort.
It's true.
So
how many points a game are they giving up?
Well, they won. They defeated Brookfield Academy 132 to 89.
Okay.
So Right. A lot of the emphasis is on scoring the basketball. They take a lot of shots. They obviously make a lot of them, so they're very good shooters. They don't really get to the rim that much. They're making a lot of perimeter shots.
Pay the overbetters.
Yeah, if there was such a thing. And so what then happens is on the defensive end, the mind is still thinking, all right, let's just let them shoot. Hurry up, let them shoot. Let's get the ball back. Not caring a whole lot whether it goes in or you have to rebound it. And let's get the ball back and we race down the floor and we do it all over again. The comparison to the other side of it is teams in north of Highway 21, excluding some of the metro areas. Defense is the effort, right? We're expending most of our energy on the defensive side, and offense is where I get to catch my breath.
Yeah.
So we're going to pass the ball a lot. We're going to set some screens, but we're catching our breath on the offensive side, and we're expending most of our energy on the defense. So we're giving up just 38 points, and we scored 42, and we won. Let's go have popcorn.
What is more fun to watch?
Oh, the offense for sure. Yeah. Now
it does drive me crazy to see it, though.
it does.
It really does.
It's a little bit different, and it's a little bit. This is maybe where you and I share the common thought. It's a little bit aggravating on the lack of defense that is being played, because it seems like it could be easily done, but the motive is if there's a certain number, and I think Coach Showalter or others that are in that format, we know if we get to this number, they can't catch us. So it doesn't matter what we do defensively. And I want the kids to win tonight. We're here to help them win a basketball game. So we think if we get to, now I'm making stuff up, right? But if we get to 102, they can't catch us. Yeah. So just hurry up and get to 102, and then the game will be over.
Really depends on the team. If you have kids that want to run and they're sprinters, and let them go. Mm-hmm. Why fight?
Yeah, and they are. I mean, the kids fit that. So you also should be open, I think, my opinion, to helping the kids you have and the abilities that they possess have the most success in their current shape and form.
I'll tell you what, it looks good for those college coaches.
Yeah. I average 35 a game.
I haven't played any defense, but I'm averaging 35 and 12.
Yeah, there are far fewer defensive stats compared to offensive stats.
True.
So it's easier to put that on a graphic and send it all to the area colleges and
for sure.
help yourself out. They are fun to watch, and a really great group of kids there. Coach Show, as he's known in the neighborhood, a really good group. We've got to interview and meet some of those kids over the last few weeks, and really outstanding human beings, as we have found out.
Why don't you take a minute and just describe why these games are on?
Yeah, so we had a couple of guys, Matt and Elijah, make themselves available to us, and energetic go-getters who want to attempt a career in over-the-air broadcasting and technology. And so let's do it. We know how to do it. We find some folks that want to help out on the other side. So we go down. We did some training in the end of December. I went and kind of finished off that training last week, and it's a great opportunity. It's a different style of basketball now that you all get to watch for free in the southeastern part of the state. And because sometimes what happens is these teams get to state, and it's like, oh, who is Carmen Northwest, right? Well, now you'll get to find out, and we'll help show their skills and abilities to you all across the state. So we're excited for that. Yeah.
So more proof that if you want your team featured on Zaleski Sports, contact this guy.
And a lot do, and then we kind of explain what it needs to be, and then we never hear back from them again. That's too bad, but there are certain requirements we have. There are certain needs that we need to have in this case, in a high school basketball gymnasium. Dominican, you asked about them and why they've been on so much. They are more than welcoming. They have been outstanding to work with, as has been Oconomowoc and Germantown and the other schools. We will be at Wauwatosa West tonight.
Nice.
Tip is in 2.5 hours.
Man, how nice is it to have Wednesday games? That's nice.
It'll be good. If you want to sit back and watch high school hoops tonight, ZaleskiSports.com, 7:15 tip. It is Sussex, Hamilton, and Tosa West.
Unheard of
tonight
in this area.
All kinds of other kind of handshake agreements on the Wednesday games around here.
Yep.
But Yeah, so Dominican and others, I just mentioned a whole bunch of them in the southeast part of the state, they've truly rolled out the red carpet and they've said, come on in. Here's our internet password that only you get to have, and here's a table you can sit at, and here's some comfortable chairs you can sit in, and here's our coach, and we'd like you to meet these our players, and let's get to know about them, because they know the better they do for us, the better we can do for them. And
Yeah, they want you back.
yeah,
Because it's about the kids.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
And not every school gives you the red carpet.
No, we had, I don't know, worn out shag carpet at Appleton East last night. It was too bad. Now, that's what it started as. It ended up a little bit better than that. And so I thank the other staff, the other non-athletic department staff that helped us out last night at Appleton East. They did a great job. And a really unfortunate thing happened last night. I'll share this, and then we'll move on to games that are upcoming on the network this week. Because everybody wants to get past that, because they know after that they get the Merriwood Minute. That's what they're really watching for. At some point in the first half last night, over at Appleton East, Stevens Point Panthers boys basketball team, they had left the locker room before the game, came out and played the first half. By what was told to me, I did not witness it myself. What was told to me out on the floor after the game, as they were returning from the gymnasium, is a very unfortunate thing happened. Their locker room had been torn into. Things strewn about, and personal items, including money and other things, stolen from the lockers, and just horrible, just horrible. And who to blame for that is whoever the people or person is that did that. That's who to blame.
Yeah.
It's a unique deal where the locker room is outside of the gym and then down the hallway. Perhaps there might be a new policy after to lock that door.
Yeah, they have things on the doors that you twist.
Yeah, or if the site coordinator maybe would make the rounds and check in on those kind of things. Because somebody obviously, I talk about risk, right? Usually these types of things are premeditated. They know nobody looks in here during the game. I mean, usually what happens. I hope those kids got all their stuff back. That's all I hope at this point. I had nothing I can do about it. It's not like OJ and I can claim I'm going to go find the real killer. There's nothing I can do. And I was just really, I was really taken aback when I heard that news last night.
The kids did nothing wrong.
They went out and played a basketball game.
Yeah.
And they came back in and all their stuff was destroyed or missing. Okay. That's. I have more to say. I'm cutting myself off. I think that's the best.
Yeah, I got the full barrel of it today, and it wasn't a good experience down there.
No, it's really not. And so we really appreciate all of our partner schools and everyone else that welcomes us in. I will say the basketball team at Appleton East was very welcoming and very appreciative of us being there.
Yeah,
and
a really good game.
We love that, and it turned out to be a great game.
Appleton East almost upset the Smash
20-point Panthers lead in the second half with about 9 minutes left, 10 minutes left, and they whittled it all the way down to a 1-point game.
Yeah, and that happens, right? Teams get up by 20 and they kind of let the pedal or your foot off the gas a little bit, and you start throwing the ball all over the gym, and all of a sudden the other team makes 3 or 4 threes, and it's 20 down to 6 and 7, and the crowd's back into it.
And they were into it. Everything was into it.
The bench is into it.
I was into it.
I saw the bench guys, they're standing up. Yeah. They're doing this to the fans.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's true. And Coach Kroll told me after the game, highlights are on Facebook. Right now, they're on Zaleski Sports Stevens Point. They'll be at other places later, but you can go watch those highlights. That kind of tells the story right there. But Coach Kroll told me afterwards that, or what we kind of talked about was, well, yeah, that was disappointing to see what happened there, but we got to learn a new endgame scenario and how to deal with it.
It's true.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So learn. That's the whole idea there. Let's talk about games tomorrow on the network. Big hockey night tomorrow. We've got, it's a Michigan team coming down. They're going to play Mosney tomorrow. I do not know the team name for Michigan that's playing Mosney. I don't know all the hockey high school teams from Michigan, it turns out.
Let me see.
Yeah, King at Mosney.
Kingsford.
So, is that what it is? Kingsford, Michigan? The charcoal. Maybe? Okay,
well,
I don't know.
It is Kingsford.
I'll say it is.
Yes.
Okay. You know stuff about Michigan, it turns out.
Apparently.
Kingsford is at Mosney hockey. Wisconsin Rapids at DC Everest up in the Green Heck Center at DC Everest High School. And then A huge night, apparently, in girls basketball. All girls games from there on out. Shiocton at Amherst, Rochold at Pacelli, Tri-County, the Fighting Kofies
Yeah.
are at Pittsville. Baldwin
That's going to be
Woodville.
a tough one for him.
Baldwin Woodville is at Altoona. Neillsville is at Columbus Catholic. Owen Withee is at Greenwood. I know Coach Wietrich was a little bit nervous about Owen Withee coming in tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't get a lot of coach speak from Trevor. He'll just tell you. And he told Joe last night, hey, he's a little bit concerned about that one. On Friday, boys basketball, Pacelli is at Rochold, Edgar is at Mosinee, DC Everest at Wisconsin Rapids, Merrill is at Marshfield. That means I missed a game yesterday. I'll go back to that. Spash is at Wausau East.
Ooh.
Yes, Columbus Catholic is at Spencer. Kaukauna at Oshkosh North. That's a big one.
Yep.
That's a big one over there. And in girls action on Friday, Wausau East at Spash. You've got the girls-boys doubleheader over there at...
Yeah, the Valley does that.
Okay, doubleheader, but at opposite locations. So all games at 7:15 tomorrow.
So
Wausau East is at Spash. Spash is at Wausau East.
Okay.
So not a doubleheader.
So it's not a doubleheader.
Simultaneous games.
There you go.
Thank you. I had to absorb this here. I've been gone for a while.
It's true.
New Richmond at Eau Claire Memorial and Wisconsin Rapids at DC Everest girls basketball. And I got to go back to Tuesday because I know that I am at Wausau West tomorrow for Marshville boys basketball. So we'll get that updated on the website. But that's the game that was missing there. Boys
Spash at Wausau East. That's a spicy one.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
So
hey, it's the number 3 team in Division 1 against the number 3 team in Division 2.
yeah, and
Seed scores.
yeah, there are a smattering of people around the state that are confused or surprised. Maybe that's the better word for it. Shocked at the Wausau East boys basketball number 3 ranking. We talked about that earlier, and because this has been a forgotten team, almost school athletically, but a forgotten team, the boys basketball team. For a number of years, and if you hadn't been paying attention, and I would say right now, mid-January is when people really start turning their eyes to basketball in high school basketball in Wisconsin, because we got through the holidays and now there's not much to do, and what's on, or where should we go? Oh, there's boys basketball. Oh, okay. What? Wausau East is ranked 3rd? That's got to be wrong.
I have heard that
It's
from
not.
everybody.
It's
right?
not wrong.
They're like, are you sure that they're number 3? Are you sure?
Yeah, well, we are.
Like,
sure.
is that an error? No. Wausau East boys basketball team is good this year.
Yeah, Dan and I got to see them 2 weeks ago, and it looked pretty good. We've had them on a couple of times. They are far behind Wisconsin Lutheran and Pewaukee, who are 1 and 2,
Yes.
and they are far behind. And they are, Coach Dan Garrett, I'm sure, is watching right now, barely ahead of 4 through 10.
Yeah, it's tight.
Just this little bit. But right now, the math has Wausau East at 3. By the end of the season, very possible that turns into a 12 or something like that. But right now, number 3.
I mean, I think New Richmond is in there with them. Mosinee in there.
Yep.
So you got 1, 2. I think New Richmond might be on the other side of the bracket, maybe. But a lot of teams in the top 10 of Division 2 that are all in this sectional.
Yeah, as I look at those seed scores, Dan, 638, 635, 630, 630, 630.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all right there,
Yep.
right? And so at this point, if you're Wausau East or whoever it is, New Richmond, Mosinee, Stoughton, Burlington, all those that I mentioned, they're all razor thin. Not only do you, first off, you need to win. That's your only job.
Yeah, win Friday would be, woof.
Well, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And that would be something we would
be
talk about
eye-opening.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, Wausau East is going to go into that game to win against Spash.
Absolutely.
They are not thinking we are less than these Spash Panthers.
When is the last time that Wausau East had such a big game at home?
20 years ago?
Yeah, that's a
I mean,
big
it's been
one.
a long time. It really has.
Who's doing the game for us?
It really has. Tom King.
All right.
He's the best man for the job right there.
He is.
Hall of
Would love
Famer
to
Tom
be
King.
there, yeah.
Hall of Famer Tom King. Calling the biggest game in Wausau East boys basketball history in over a decade.
There's a good chance that he'll actually wear flannel to that. For the Lumberjacks.
I'm calling him on the way home. I'm telling him to wear flannel because that would fit, wouldn't it? But he's in the Hall of Fame, so
because he bleeds Wausau East.
Yeah, he loves
flannel.
it. Absolutely loves it. But I'll wrap up on the seed score. We've got the schedules out there, and then we're going to bring this son of a gun in for a landing. Number one job, whoever you are, right? Go out and win your game. That's all you can do. The other thing you can do, which really will have no outcome, but it might help your mental state, is that every team you've played that's out of conference, go cheer for them to win the rest of the way
Yes.
also, because that will improve your score. Now, I don't know if you can have an impact on that, but perhaps Coach Garrett is going to dial up the coach over at Three Lakes and help him scout his next 8 games because you need Three Lakes to win. That was a team you played earlier this year. And whoever, Rhinelander, I think they play, or whoever it was, right? You need now to go help those teams win their games to keep your so small advantage.
Yeah, but you know what? Coach Garrett has brought that team from not the dead, but from irrelevancy to something that is really special this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and a really good basketball coach.
People are talking about Wausau East basketball.
Here we are.
That hasn't happened.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
And in Wausau proper, West a little bit down. We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the best team in town.
Yeah. Newman way down.
Yep.
So if you're looking for good entertainment in Wausau, Friday, biggest game in over a decade. Head over to Wausau East High School and as the Lumberjacks take on the Spash Panthers. All right, time now for the Merriwood Minute, brought to you by Dan Ross and sponsored by Mid-State Technical College.
Jason,
Da-da-da-da.
welcome to this week's Merriwood Minute, brought to you by Mid-State Technical College.
We need to have a soundtrack for this.
We should.
Yeah, I can work
Mid-State
on
used to
that.
have a basketball team. We played them a lot, and they were
That's
really
awesome.
good.
That's great.
Yeah, a lot of kids from down south that came for welding scholarships and stuff. It's weird.
Okay.
Happened to be really good at basketball.
All right.
Jason is back from vacation. Nobody lives a better life. Florida,
I don't know about that.
Vegas, Minnesota, Milwaukee.
Minnesota count? Does that count for something? I don't know.
Dude does it all. One night, smearing cupcake on my face.
Near
next-
miss.
The next, doing boys basketball, watching teams score 100-plus points.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Mosinee Marathon, the best 2 non-D1 teams in the area. Battle to the horn. Mosinee walks away with a comeback victory at home.
Marathon. Now, okay. So the Division 4 team going into a Division 2. Just an absolute hornet's nest over there in Mosinee on Monday night.
Probably should have won that.
Last couple of minutes kind of gave it away.
Yeah,
Kind of gave it away. All right. Well, that's good news for their future, I think.
for sure.
Okay.
Marathon learns more with the loss
There you go.
than a close win.
Reading my mind.
Yep. They have close wins down at Concordia.
Yeah,
They know how to win. Do they know how to come back from a loss?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Marathon. Sorry.
Back on track.
Sorry. Marathon learns more with the loss than a close win. It's a big picture of the journey type of thing. The Merriwood South continues to dominate non-conference games in a shallow slate of snow games. Marathon versus Edgar to be made up once again, because I think that was a very early season game that got pushed because of state football or something.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
Big games this week. Marathon at Stratford. Stratford pushed Marathon at Marathon earlier in the year.
Yeah, just the history between those two schools too. It's
Yes.
always going to be a big game.
Yeah, not saying there's bad blood there, but they don't like each other.
Yeah. And
They aren't best friends.
Yeah, they're rivals. Yep.
Edgar at Assumption. That's going to be spicy.
Okay.
Newman at Auburndale. And a crossover night, Thursday, Friday. South should roll, but Assumption at Phillips will be one to watch. That's what I
Loggers.
think.
Loggers are tough to cut down.
Yeah. So power rankings, boys
Okay.
power rankings.
Dun, 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 dun.
These are based on seed scores.
Yep.
Right? Because I don't see these North teams that often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 5, Rib Lake, 10-2.
Yeah. I mean, having just a tremendous season. I mean, I don't know that many knew this was going to come this year.
I kind of knew. I had a little inside story there.
Okay.
It's hard to believe though.
Yeah.
First place by a game and a half. They're rolling.
Okay.
Number 4, and they've already had Marathon.
Yeah.
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 Number 4, Stratford, 10-3.
Okay. 10-3. Yeah, that's okay.
In a year that we kind of thought the Merriwood South would be down a little bit. And it never is. Number 3, Edgar, 10-2. Number 2, Auburndale, 11-2.
Yeah, I knew that one.
And number 1, Marathon, 12-1.
Yeah, we knew that too. Yeah, interesting there. 10 wins already for both Stratford and Edgar, two schools that are essentially basketball teams made up of football players.
Yep.
Fight me on that if you want to, but it's what it
just
is.
Basketball players usually aren't built like linebackers, generally
Yeah,
speaking.
right. Thin and lanky, usually tall, lanky. Yeah, that's pretty good. 10 wins coming into the new year. Good for them.
Yeah, really good. Again, preseason prognostication thought that maybe the Merriwood South would struggle a little bit. Not the case.
Hasn't turned out that way.
No, just really good coaches top to bottom, honestly.
Probably the difference. Yeah. Okay.
Girls basketball, also a light week. We were robbed of Assumption Aquinas,
Grr.
rescheduled for January 29th.
But the company got to save $5,000, so we were happy for that.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about it last week without really going into it.
They negotiated me down to 500, and I still hung up the phone.
We're not going to pay $5,000 for a regular season girls basketball.
I'm not paying $5 for any game. 500,
For boys,
whatever.
girls, it doesn't
whatever,
matter.
man. Yeah, okay.
Could you imagine if Wausau East said, hey, we want you here, but it's going to be $5,000 to see us play Spash?
I would never even look at that school again.
It'd be like, I'm going to come in and record it on my phone and Facebook Live it. Like 4 other people in the stands. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Assumption, sleepwalking through their schedule. Back-to-back with Auburndale next week. Rescheduling quirk there.
Yeah, Stratford got Auburndale, which was surprising to me. And then I remember Tammy Christofferson's the coach of the Stratford Tigers girls basketball team. But still a shock. Auburndale's just so young. So they're going to have some slip-ups. And I think that's maybe what happened that night.
Yeah, and I say here, speaking of Auburndale, upset at the Tiger Cage as Stratford.
Sorry to be stealing your thunder, man. These thoughts pop into my head.
Yeah.
I just say them.
Well, I would have skipped it, but I want to say the Tiger Cage.
The Tiger Cage. All right.
Yeah.
Thick bars on the Tiger
That's
Cage.
true.
You don't want that tiger getting out.
Hands Auburndale their first conference loss.
Yeah.
Auburndale at Phillips tomorrow should be telling.
Mm-hmm.
Auburndale tends to play to their opponents, whether it's up or whether it's down. Dangerous, but that's what happens when your team is super young.
I was going to say signs of a young team
Yep.
in that way. Not understanding yet how to command a game.
Yeah, for sure. Stratford's also super young, really tough to figure out. They lose to Abbotsford, beat Auburndale, and then Marathon almost got them last night.
It's wacky.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I said the world doesn't make sense here.
Okay.
Because it doesn't. Girls' power rankings. Now, if you remember back to the boys, 10-win teams,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. All the way up and down.
Yep. Number 5, Abbotsford, 8-6.
Yeah. Okay. A little more mediocre.
Yeah. Number 4, your Athens Blue Jays, 10-6.
Previously, my Athens Blue Jays.
Number 3, Auburndale, 11-4.
Okay.
This is interesting because these girls teams have 13, 14, 15 games into their schedule now.
Yeah.
We're getting through it.
Yep.
I'm happy about it because once basketball's over, it's spring.
Golf would be around the corner for some.
For some. Number 2, Phillips Loggers,
Okay. Yeah.
13-2.
Yeah.
Coach Egerbrecht has it rolling up there.
Yeah, and it has for a number of years.
Yep.
Yep.
And number 1, Assumption, 14-0.
Yeah.
So, since it's a light week, I have girls basketball midseason all-conference teams.
Right now?
Right now.
Whoa! Now I really wish we had theme music or some sort of animated graphic coming on.
Yeah.
sounds like
And be like, what is this based off of? It's based off of my knowledge and what I've seen.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of the Merriwood South, Merriwood North. I've seen a bunch of teams, but I know of the girls as well that I haven't seen.
I trust your opinion on this, so let's have it.
All right. In no particular order. We just take the top
So
5
is that a
from each
ranking?
conference.
This is a all-conference team.
Yeah. That being said, number 1 are probably going to be the player of the year. So,
Okay.
Sarah Shaw, Assumption.
Okay, so your
Probably.
mid-season player of the year.
Yes, Sarah
Okay.
Shaw. Michaela Workus, Edgar.
Michaela, work us my way back to you, babe.
That's right. Maya Katzenberger, Auburndale. She's a freshman.
Yeah, yeah. Diaper Dandies in Auburndale.
Oh.
Yep.
It's been a while.
Yeah, they are though. There was
Yeah.
a picture sent in to me with that, and yeah, I'll come back to that after
Yeah,
you're done.
really good.
Yeah.
Lily Shields, Newman Catholic.
Okay, a long line of Shields kids coming through Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last one, Jordan Jaglinski, best
Okay.
shooter in the conference.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
That's as much evidence as you need that you need to get in the gym and shoot.
Yeah. Averaging, she's one of the top scorers in the conference as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
All right, so going to the north,
Okay.
it's going to be a race on Player of the Year. I'm going to give it to Casey Egbrecht from
Okay.
Phillips.
So mid-season player of the year, right?
Mid-season
'Cause
player of the year.
That means subject to change. You've got some leeway
That's
if something
true.
happens in the second half.
But the leading scorer is Sophia Coker of Athens.
Having a really nice year. Had her 1,000 points a couple weeks ago, and really standing out for the Blue Jays.
Yeah. Callie Heikkinen from Prentice, really good ball player. She's having a great year.
Yeah, family moved from Finland about 50 years ago.
A lot of Heikkinens
Heikkinen.
from
That's a Finnish name, isn't it?
From Prentice, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good name. It's a Finnish name, though, I think.
We should ask Jason Vandenelsen how many Heikkinens have been through Prentice, because he went to Prentice and long line. And he's probably watching.
Yeah.
Long line. So text me how many Heikkinens there's been.
He of Dutch origin, perhaps.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Matea Eckert, also Phillips.
Yep.
And then the last one that I have is Sydney Faltisek.
Faltasek. Yep.
Faltisek. I didn't write where she was from. I think
Abbotsford.
Abbotsford.
That's Abbotsford.
Yeah,
Yep.
Abbotsford.
Yeah, long line of Faltaseks out of Abbotsford. Yeah.
Abbotsford having a pretty good season.
Yeah, you mentioned 8-6, but they've played some quality opponents. You're gonna Faltasek every once in a while.
Like it.
Falter. Yeah, that's a good list.
Yeah, it's super cold outside. Time to go warm up and get to work on next week's Merwood Minute.
All right, there you go. Sponsored by Mid-State Technical College. We stay really toasty in
Yeah,
here.
it is warm in here.
The radiator, we've got an actual radiator right here, just coursing through with heat and just radiating through.
Yeah.
It's doing its job.
Next week, boys all conference, mid-season all
All
conference.
right, there you go. Merwood Minute. It's as great as it's ever been, Dan. Keep up the good
We
work.
do what we can. I tried to convince Kale to have a Clover Belt corner.
Okay, how did that go?
He was for it, but he's not here, so I don't know.
He was for it until he was against it.
Yeah, his Clover Belt corner.
He would know. That would be
Yeah.
a good assignment. That's
It would be.
somewhat his conference, isn't it?
It is.
I'm going to check the hotline for any messages, see any errors that we had on the show.
You said you
today.
wanted to talk about something. I don't remember what it was.
Well, Auburndale and the diaper dandies.
Yes, the diaper
if that's I say a lot of things I want to talk about, so maybe that was the right one.
And we're getting to the end of the show. It's still light out.
It gives us reason to hope, doesn't it?
It does.
Let's see here.
Auburndale is an extremely young team, right? And they have 8 out of their 9 rotation are freshmen or sophomores,
Yeah.
and they're learning still.
So the picture was sent in to me. They were holding a sign, diaper dandies. And
Nice.
I mean, all
Nice.
freshmen. That's
Yeah.
what that means, right? Dick Vitale, of course, made that popular. 20 years ago, commenting on who knows who, and then it turned out to be this big deal that he had. And the person who sent in the picture, has noticed all the other pictures that we post on social media and say, hey, this is a good one. I'm like, that's a great picture.
Yeah, that's a good picture.
And I wish I could do something with it. But being a sports media company, sports media and journalism, in order to avoid any complaints about name, image, and likeness, we do have to report stats and scores along with those pictures rather than just advertising kids on our network, which I know it seems really tricky, but these are the rules that we have to play by.
Send in your stats, kids.
So,
Send them in.
So, I respond to the nice person that sent in this awesome picture that we still would love to use, except we haven't had a single game recap, score, or anything sent in by the Auburndale basketball team. And I said this to this person, and I got a response that I won't share. I don't think that would be fair, but please, Auburndale girls basketball and everybody else, if you've ever wondered how those things get on social media, so we do have our own file photos, our folder of photography.
Tons of pictures.
Digital as is. We got so many, and then people send in all these other great ones, including this one. And if you look on social media, it's always paired with
the story,
with
three,
just
4 lines.
Yep, 2 sentences that says how the team performed, maybe who the top performer was, and what their record is, and it allows us to give exposure and congratulations to your team. Yeah. But we do need to know what happened in the game.
Yeah, we can't just post pictures.
Yeah, you can do that on your own Facebook page, and most of you probably do, and that's great. But we go a step further. We probably got a little bit wider audience than you have on your personal page, and so you trust us with this information. You all send it. Thank you all for doing it. But this one was Auburndale girls basketball, and we need to get that information, please. That way we share the success of your team.
For example, Katzenberger leads all scorers with 14 points in a 52-50 victory over whoever.
Yeah, you can even write us the caption.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, I'll deal with that. But when we get 0, I can't just make up stats for your team. Not gonna do it, and mainly because on a single night we will get dozens of submissions.
Yep.
And we're actually we only so much room. We don't pick all of them. We pick the ones that are neat and maybe somebody who hasn't been recognized in a while or forever. And
there are rules. Like this isn't a Zaleski sports rule.
Yeah.
Like there are rules.
Yeah. They're to protect your kids from preying idiots.
Yeah.
This kind, not this kind. As it turns out. Yeah, thank you. There are people that run afoul of humanity out there. So
bad people.
We help you with that. So when you see them, that's what happens. We get sent in the stats and the outcome, and it's like 90%, like across the state even. Like so many are coming in. But the few that don't, we usually don't even make any word of it. But this one was such a great picture that unfortunately, as of today, we have no use for. And that's a shame.
Well, maybe that'll change after this.
I hope so. It's just like Kale got fed pizza and cookies the other night. We hope that by mentioning it, somebody out there will help. And it doesn't have to come from Coach, as Dan said. It can come from any of you.
Yeah, he's really spoiled. For marathon, I have to talk my way into the game still. I've been there all year. I'm a Zaleski Sports. So are you?
Who are you? I don't know.
I sit
about
up there.
That.
I sit up in the nest. Well, we already have someone from Zaleski Sports here. They're the camera person. I have to literally tuck my way in. So now I wear this Zaleski Sports jacket, trying to get some.
Yeah, got to have the street cred. Got to have the right colors on.
It's the same people too.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it. We've been on for an hour. In 2 hours' time, Matt and Elijah will give you Sussex Hamilton at Tosa West boys basketball tonight. ZaleskiSports.com. It's going to be a tremendous game. I know I'll be watching, and you should too. For Dan Ross, I'm Jason Zaleski. Have a great night, everybody.